Hey guys, I'm Ryan Raymond. And this weekend, I got to sit down with Dale Roberts from Self Publishing with Dale to discuss publishing short reads on Amazon. And if you haven't yet, I also did an interview with Kelly, his wife, who publishes low and no content books on KDP. And her interview, I'll link in the description below or put in a card here. I highly recommend go watching that after this video. Now, we sat down and we discussed a lot of things during the day, but I sat down and recorded a part of the conversation with Dale this week. And so this is where you get to watch that. So make sure you give this video a like, go subscribe to Dale's channel, watch this till the end, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Raymond, and I am here today with Dale Roberts, and we just did a video if you watched previously, with Kelly Roberts, where we talked about low and no content publishing, and here we're going to do a follow-up about publishing on KDP with Dale Roberts, and if you haven't, make sure you guys check out both their YouTube channels. So Dale, why don't you tell who you are?
To correct you, her real last name's Publish. It's Kelly Publish. Most times I'm known as Mr. Kelly Publish.
It's true. I knew about Kelly before I knew about you. So
it is, actually. So a lot of the folks over the merch community are probably not very familiar with me, but I'm in the whole self-publishing space, hence the self-publishing with Dale thing. I've grown a channel up to over 23,000 subscribers, and a lot of it's based on publishing in general. It's a more of a global overview. So we're not just talking about no content and low content books. I'm talking about fiction, nonfiction, and even wider of scaling a business and a brand that you're able to monetize it and hopefully make a gainful employment out of it. If not, at least a part-time hobby that you can have some mad money to do whatever you want to with your life.
Would you say it's fair? You teach people not just how to sell on Amazon, but you teach people how to self-publish a book and get mass broad appeal everywhere.
Correct. That's the whole thing is, and I want, if anybody like stops the video right now, which hopefully you don't, stay with us, obviously. The one thing I want to always implore on people is Amazon's a fantastic avenue. Mm-hmm. But as you kind of seen, and I've watched Ryan's channel, which hopefully you folks have been watching his channel as well.
I hope so.
He doesn't focus on just Amazon. He's actually focused on other avenues. And why is that? Diversifying, because you got to diversify your assets. And so you're going to find that I'm more searchable for Amazon related things because let's face it, more people are looking.
It's the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. It's where everyone starts, really.
Correct.
It's Amazon provides such an easy way for people to get in, and it's easy to forget they're not the only game in town.
Correct. So if there's one thing that we get from this conversation or in this video is diversify. All right, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because there's actually, I've been in this business now for over 5 years in the self-publishing industry, and I've seen people come and I've seen them go. And the common denominator of why they've gone is they put all their eggs in one basket and they just were loading it up over to Amazon, and then the carpet got pulled out from underneath them and they're going, screw this business, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. So, if that's going to be one thing, is if you're watching Ryan's channel, consume more of the content, keep an open mind to some of the concepts, and try to dabble and test out these areas. Places like, let's see here, Teespring, to Zazzle, to Spreadshirt, to, try to reach out and think bigger, because it's going to really help you out in the long term. And one of the things that will happen is, as you folks have discovered through Kelly's interview, was she really didn't go into the business of no content, low content book publishing. She kind of just was like, well, let me dabble into this, because she saw me dabbling in it and was like, oh, well, if he can do that, I'm going to do it better. And she did, of course, naturally.
Well, usually our better halves can do it better than us whenever they get into it. So
that's the other thing when it comes to diversifying. When you diversify your stuff, you might end up tripping up over something that you really truly enjoy, and you might find something that's way off the Amazon platform. So that's why I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork, because you and I talked ahead of time, like, what should we talk about? Because honestly, look, folks, I watch Ryan. I've seen his live videos enough times, and good Lord, his live setup is just absolutely insane. I wouldn't even try it myself. But I watched him long enough to know, like, okay, here comes this guy. They're bald-headed. Are we cousins?
Well,
we got the beard, and we got
must be the same barbers. So.
Yeah, so, a lot of people are probably going, well, why is he on this channel? Because I want to just drop a little seed, a little bit of inspiration for you, and maybe give you an idea of what you stand to gain in not just looking at merch, but possibly expanding into other publishing avenues. Because let's face it, you're in a publishing avenue, I'm in a publishing avenue.
Absolutely.
Either way you shake. I'm kind of more book publishing centric. So
you're what when people think of publishing, they think of books, whereas it's beyond so many things.
Right, yeah. It's, you have so many music publishing. Not many people realize you publish music. But either way, I want to kind of just put a seed of inspiration in some of you guys and gals. And I want to kind of understand where you're coming from. Like, oh, this is a new thing. I don't just want to put and spin more plates and add something else to my thing. So I said to you ahead of time, like, let's think about the path of least resistance. Something that would be a great starter for most people who are on here. Now, rather than regurgitating the information that Kelly gave you already on no content, low content books, what I could probably do is get it to where you understand what you stand to gain out of the fiction and nonfiction realm, because there are voracious consumers right now that are waiting for the content that you have. I can't tell you how many times I've told people I'm a published author and they're like, oh my God, I want to write a book. Everybody wants to write a book. And so that's the thing is, a lot of people think that it's really hard. They think that the wall is up. They think that they have to spend months upon months upon months toiling over a manuscript. And that's all well and good if you want to die by that art. But right now, we're in the age of instant gratification. People want it and they want it now. So you have people that want your content. So with that, all that laid out here, all right? Hopefully you put a timestamp to this point here inside the video.
6 minutes there.
Yeah, we already went 6 minutes. No big deal. So what I'm going to recommend is something that's called short reads.
Okay.
This blows people's minds. Now, short reads is going to be on Amazon specifically, but it can work elsewhere. Just to kind of get it to where it's universally appealing, we're going to talk about Amazon, and it's what they call short reads. Short reads is super popular. And it's even been proven actually in an article that was released recently by the NPD Book Scan. And they're largely responsible for tracking book sales in the US market.
Okay.
And lately they've seen a shift over the past decade from people consuming longer form books. We're talking like over 250 pages or more to less than 250 pages. Heck, I've seen it myself, this explosion of short reads. Now you're probably going, okay, what exactly is short read?
I was just going to say, like, what do you define? Like, do I write 3 paragraphs and call it a short read, and am I good?
That sounds crazy. Yes.
Wow.
That's
like,
it's
so
all about, so it's all about delivering the value, first of all. So I get a lot of people that come to me and go, how many pages should a book be? Well, how long will it take you to deliver the value that you need to?
Without boring the reader into
without boring the reader, or for that matter, getting it to where they're like, I just read 3 paragraphs. I feel like I just got ripped off. You want to get it to where there's value. But here's the funny thing is on Amazon, they have what's called a 15-minute short read, 30-minute, 45, a 60-minute, hour and a half, and a 2-hour. So there's different ones. And it's broken down. It starts out 1 to 11 pages for the 15-minute. And then for the 30-minute short read, it's 12 to 21, and it just keeps going exponentially up. Okay,
so it lets you put out a 1 to 10 page book that's designed to be a 15-minute quick consumption.
Correct. So, and there's proof of concept already. People are buying these books and they're leaving positive reviews because they want something short. They want something they can read, let's say, at their lunch break. Or they want the information that they want to and be done with it. Or they want to suspend their disbelief with a great fiction short story, or however, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, whatever it is, and be done with it. And not be married to this novel where they're like, oh my gosh, 3 months later, and there's the last page of It by Stephen King. Good Lord, that's great, which I great book, but, nonetheless, again, we're in the age of instant gratification. So you're probably thinking, okay, what do I need to do next?
Yeah, so where do I go? What do I do?
There's 2 ways we can do this, all right? One way we can do it is the old-fashioned way. Get behind the typewriter and just type it out. Typewriter, well, that's, the boomers are only going to be
somewhere
able to
with a keyboard this day. Keyboard, typewriter, laptop, your phone.
So, type it on out. That's the old-fashioned way. I find I can do it that way. There's another way, and this really works. Now, the old school, the old guard of writing will be completely like, they hate when I say this. voice dictation. Voice dictation, like that's not writing. Guess what? I know a number of authors out there that have done voice dictation and are making money hand and fist. All you need to do, pop it open your Android, your iPhone, or whatever you're using and record it. You can record it and send it to, say, like rev.com. Mm-hmm. They do it for $1 per minute. They'll send you a transcript, and all you got to do is go through it, edit it, publish it. Now, I probably glossed over the whole editing and proofing part, you know.
Well, I mean, you do want to make sure that your words are spelled right and that it's proper English when it's done.
Correct, and it has good flow, but it really can be so super simple, and doing short reads is a great way to see proof of concept in something like this. So this is what I'm going to challenge those of you that are following Ryan, is to test out this methodology. Try short reads for yourself. And it's just going to be like kind of what you do for your niche research. Mm-hmm. The same thing works for my niche research.
Identify search terms that people are looking for. Mm-hmm. Identify ways to bring something unique to the audience and put it out there.
Boom. That's it. So if you're already familiar with how to upload through, say, Merch by Amazon, you already know how to do it through Kindle Direct Publishing. It's that freaking simple. And I know I might have simplified it. You might look at it the very first time and you're going to feel overwhelmed. And right when you get ready to press the publish button, you're going to feel this sense of anxiety. But didn't you feel that on your first shirt?
Oh, yeah. Well, especially in merch, everyone says you're going to get terminated the moment you submit a rejection. So I was like, don't get rejected. But And even then, I realized I got to get out of my own head. I'm clicking the button either way. I'm getting that shirt up. If I screwed up, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I don't screw up before I click publish.
Yep.
But the simple fact is, making mistakes is how you learn. For me, that's how I learned a lot.
Money, yes. And see, that's the thing is, he just exactly said the same thing that happens on KDP. And so this is why I'm going to say again, I'm going to challenge you, short reads, try them out. You never know. You might end up doing something longer than a short read, and kudos to you. But I would say just to not make it difficult on yourself. Don't try to get stuck on this perfect image in your head of what your very first book is going to be. Just get it done. Get it thoroughly edited. If you don't know any good qualified professional editors, reach out to some peers and have them edit it for you and proof it for you. Make sure it's really good. It's short enough that, heck, it'll probably be done within a day, and you're like, oh, here we go, I've got it all set. You get a book cover put on it, you're ready to launch it to market, and there is another avenue that you're able to, first of all, build more diversified, income coming in, and the next thing is you start to build out a brand. How cool is that? You've got merch out, now you've got books, and here's the other double really, really cool thing is once you have that done, you can turn that into audiobook, and you can just hire a narrator for cents on the dollar, put an audiobook out, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and you know this, you've watched me long enough to know that I say I'm bullish on audiobooks because audio consumption is through the roof right now.
So I've been looking at audio. So would you say you could record an audiobook in a space like this?
Probably not. Because we have such high ceilings and there's just so much ambient. In fact, you folks can probably even hear some of the echo that's in here. We have a very high ceiling in here. But something like your
where I've got a million sound panels
He's
everywhere.
Got sound panels. If anybody's ever seen a setup, I even said, I'm like, dude, you can record some audiobooks in there because the thing is you want to make sure there's not a lot of reverberation. You need to have more of an intimate experience. But yeah, you could record your own books as well. I mean, something like this right here, this exact microphone has been used for audiobook narration. So you're already ready to go, man.
And for those of you guys wondering, it's a Yeti mic. This is the one I use for all my videos. If I can set my settings right, otherwise, or the kids come back and play with the knob, make sure your settings are right before you record an audiobook. But
so true.
There's plenty of options out there. So one of the things I always like asking, and this is something I started asking people interviewing for jobs. I always wanted to know if I was getting into something, why did the person who's deciding if I should come into it or I'm interviewing about, why did they start and why?
I started it because I always wanted to be a writer as a kid. Okay. So I was already passionate about literature anyways, and for a minute there, I wasn't reading very much. I'm back into my reading habits. And so that certainly helps. That's why I'm a little bit passionate about it. I got into it because I actually fell into it, man. Mm-hmm. I've spent 20 years in the healthcare industry as an activities director. and that meant that I was paid to play with senior citizens.
Okay.
So I was very passionate about the job. I loved it, no complaints. But the problem was it was driving a wedge between myself and my wife, and it was taking me away from time I could otherwise spend with her. And thankfully, she was already starting up a very successful Amazon FBA business at the time.
Okay.
And I published my first book, and I got like a whopping $23 and some odd cents for my first month. And I was like, can you imagine if I do this full time? And so that's when I just went ahead and burned the boats. I put my 30-day notice in, and I said, let's go ahead and do this. Now, I'm just a stubborn SOB. That's what it comes down to.
You're going to make it work no matter what happens.
I'm going to make it work. If that square peg ain't going to fit inside that round hole, then by gosh.
You can shave the corners off.
I'll
you hit it hard enough.
Exactly. You push that thing in long enough, well, the thing is I committed myself to learning the process because it was do or die. Mm-hmm. I found that after about 2 years of just grinding it out, I finally saw my breakthrough success. And she started getting into it. She saw her breakthrough success. And over the past few years, we've been able to have gainful employment that we don't have to ever consider getting another job.
What do you think? So you mentioned ground it out for 2 years. What do you think it was just the fact that you learned the process for 2 years that it moved you to the next level? Or was there something that clicked for you that moved you from, I'm here, I'm grinding, can I make this work, to I'm making this work, this is how I'm making my life? Was there a switch that flipped for you that all of a sudden something made more sense to you, or along those lines?
Yeah, it comes down to hiring a good coach and mentor. When I was, I consume the content even more now than ever because I get people's courses still. I still watch other channels, big, small, medium-sized on YouTube. I watch everybody. And but the trigger for me was a coach and mentor, really. Okay. I got to the breaking point of, okay, I need to make this work. I can't continue to squeeze a square peg into this round hole. So I had to come up with the money to hire the coach in order to kind of get things going. And that was it, really, honestly. And the funny thing is the information I've shared with you about short reads, I paid hundreds of dollars in order to
find out about.
Yep.
That's the first time I'd ever even, when you mentioned it earlier here, I was like, what short read? Like,
short
that's
read.
Not something anyone's talking about. So.
No one's talking about it. And the funny thing is everybody's all trying to crowd around no content book in a fully saturated space.
So all I need to do
in short reads.
So I could probably sit at home with my mic, open up a Google Doc with a dictation, go through, start recording, dictate it, go through and edit it, maybe send it off to an editor, and I have a 15-minute quick read.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think I've ever spent any time talking about Merch by Amazon for any period of time that could make a 15-minute read in video. But I mean, that's interesting because you could turn other forms of content into that type of thing too. Also, making YouTube videos or podcasts. There's podcasters in the audience. They could take their audio and convert it.
And people have done that. Fair warning, though, if you do end up repurposing video content that's freely available online, be prepared for the backlash on something like that because
someone will selling it for...
Yeah, so there are ways that you can actually make, let's say that...
You'd have to add more value to it. Some sort.
Correct. And what I would say is you can even get it to where you make it available for free and it would work as an advertisement for your brand. And maybe you have an upsell within your book that goes to a course or your merch products or something else like that. So you're monetizing in a different way because you can have a loss leader on the market in a short read of some sort. I actually have a few perma-free books is what they're called. And those perma-free books are short reads. They're probably about 40 to 50 pages long.
Okay.
And they work as kind of a loss leader. I make them 100% free. And what I have it for is to where people can sign up to my email newsletter to where I remarket and retarget that audience through ads, through email marketing, any number of things that you can be able to utilize. So there's many ways you can shake it, make it, or bake it. So just be careful if you're repurposing content. Either try to rewrite it in a way that you're delivering more value or stand to really, because I mean, I've seen some podcasters do this. And they've gotten beat up. They're like, I listened to this podcast already. Why'd they put it into a book form?
That makes sense. I could see why people would, especially if it's a regular audience member, is definitely not going to want to buy something from the podcast they listen to on their car ride to work last
Right.
week.
You can only imagine where they're like thinking, oh, wow, this podcaster, I listen to them all the time. They got a book out. Let me go check. Oh,
It's literally zero effort. And that goes to anything. Like, the more effort, I shouldn't say this, because I have put some days of effort into a t-shirt design that's never sold before. But no effort into something is you're going to get about that much.
Correct.
Anything you do, publishing, merge, any avenue you're seeking, you do have a course, correct? I know your schedule on that was changing.
Yes, it's the DIY publishing course.
Okay.
It will be, the enrollment closes actually in a week. So when this probably finally goes live, it's going to be closed. But I'll send you a link to the beginner course, which is 100% free.
I think I have one for it. I'll make sure to include the beginner course link in the description.
Yeah. And that will at least get people started out. So that way, if they feel like they need handheld, the free course is a way to kind of get in and get it to where you know what to do. So if you're feeling like right now the whole short read thing, you're interested, but Dale, I really kind of want step by step. The beginner's course is like that.
I've gone through the beginner's course, and it was probably more value than I've gotten in any paid course. So
yeah, a lot of people thought it was virtually insane because that was a $200 course. I said, I want to go ahead and make it free. The reason is Amazon put out a course called Amazon KDP Jumpstart. So if you don't want to get my course, go to Amazon KDP Jumpstart. They show it to you for free on how to publish on their platform for both ebook and print book. My course has much more in-depth look.
It went deep.
Yeah, KDP Jumpstart, they just get you enough to make you dangerous.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out here. And if there's anything else you would say to the people looking to get started with KDP or publishing, what's one thing you would give them to focus on? Just do it.
Just pull the trigger. You're going to be nervous. It's going to be imperfect. It's probably going to be ugly. Your first book will always be your worst book. So the one tip I'll say is, embrace the perfection and imperfection. And that's going to go with your merch business too. Always just be ready, because you just never know. I've had some stupid shirt designs that sell, and I'm like, that thing's hit. Why is anybody buying it? And then I spend 2 days on a design that doesn't flip a single dime.
The one that you make drinking with friends, that they show you a meme that doesn't make sense, and you shirt or something, and it starts selling regularly. You just never know what's going to work. Putting it out there and trying is the big thing. And also hitting the like button. So make sure you guys do that too. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that interview. Thank you, Dale, for taking the time to sit down and discuss a wealth of knowledge about everything that you shared with me. Thank you, and I truly do appreciate the help that you've given. And for those of you guys that are still here, make sure you watch another video, and also make sure you have mashed that like button, given it a thumbs up, subscribed, and turn on the notifications. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.